Now, Jordan's King Abdullah is set to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House today. Trump has pushed Jordan to resettle Palestinians from Gaza as part of his plan to put the territory under U.S. control. Jordan's already home to more than 2 million Palestinians, and so far the kingdom has flatly rejected Trump's proposal.
Protests in Jordan's capital Amman over the weekend, people rejecting U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to move Gazans to Jordan, part of widespread opposition in the country to the Trump plan.
This is unacceptable. The people of Gaza are responsible for themselves and don't need anyone to tell them who will leave Gaza and who will stay.
The Palestinians must remain on their land and the Jordanians must remain on their land.
Massive domestic pressure on the country's King Abdullah II, while he's also under pressure from the U.S. to make a deal. Here, he's meeting with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas ahead of his trip to Washington. King Abdullah said Jordan still supports a two-state solution and rejected any annexation of land or displacement of Palestinians. Jordan borders the Israeli-occupied West Bank and Israel itself. The UN says there are 2.2 million registered Palestinian refugees in the country already, and the real number may be more like 3 million. Jordan has also taken in more than 1 million Syrian refugees in recent years. In a country with a population of just 11 million, that has put a major strain on resources. There are also worries of political instability. Jordan has had peaceful relations with Israel since King Abdullah's father signed a treaty in 1994. It's long pushed for a Palestinian state and condemned Israel's siege of Gaza following the October 7th Hamas attack. Now, far-right Israeli ministers are celebrating Trump's Gaza plan, adding to the pressure in the region.
The plan President Trump has introduced is the real answer to the October 7th attacks. Those who commit the most horrible massacre on our land will themselves lose their land forever. Now we will work to bury the danger of the Palestinian state once and for all with God's help.
For King Abdullah, it's a tightrope walk with pressure from all sides. Jordan has been a longtime ally of the U.S., but Trump has shown he's willing to push America's friends around to get what he wants.
For more, I'd like to welcome Oraib Al-Rantawi, the founder and director of the Amman-based Al-Quds Center for Political Studies. So we've heard Donald Trump is due to meet with Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House. What do you think we'll see coming out of this meeting?
I think this will be the most difficult meeting between the king and an American president. The gap between the two sides, it's huge. Jordan cannot accept the American proposal about cleaning Gaza from its own people, taking over Gaza, forcibly transfer the Palestinians to Egypt and to Jordan. This is a very dangerous, a very risky proposal. We cannot accept it even or exchange it with the financial assistance Jordan gets from the United States. It's about stability, it's about security, it's about national identity, it's about the Jordanian entity itself. This is a prova maybe for the upcoming transfer scenario from West Bank to Jordan. And what we witnessed recently, based on the international organization reports, there is 40,000 people displaced, forcibly displaced from their villages in Northwest Bank. This is a nightmare for Jordan, cannot be accepted by all means. For Jordan also, it is an attempt to transform the struggle from being a Palestinian-Israeli struggle to be a domestic one, maybe a long-standing one, and this is something cannot be exchanged by any assistance or any financial offers.
Well, with this putting Jordan in such a difficult position, have we so far seen any flexibility from the Trump administration to address some of these core concerns?
We rely on 2-3 factors to contain the elephant in the souvenir shop. First, the king tried to contact the decision-making institutions in the United States, State Department, Pentagon, Congress, Congress, CIA during his visit to lobby for the Jordanian interest, vital interest in this struggle. Secondly, we are relying on the consensus among the Arab governments because the Trump proposal is a threat not only for the basic Palestinian national rights on their homeland, but also for the stability of Jordan, of Egypt, of Saudi Arabia recently as well, since Netanyahu suggested that Saudis should give some of their land to the Palestinians and enable them to have their own state there instead on West Bank and Gaza. Third, we are relying on the wider international understanding about the dangerous and the threats impacted by this proposal by Donald Trump. Europe take a very strong stand against it. Jordan signed a strategic agreement with the European Union just recently. That's why we are trying really to lobby the international, the regional powers, and also the voices in the United States in favor of the Jordanian stand that is totally rejecting this, and there is a national consensus among the Jordanians themselves on rejecting this risky and dangerous proposal.
Now, if I may jump in, Trump, though, has made it very clear that he's willing to really put maximum pressure on Jordan here. As you've mentioned it yourself, he's even threatening to withhold aid from both Jordan and Egypt if they refuse to take Palestinian refugees. Do you see a scenario in which he actually makes good on this and Jordan folds to the pressure?
It's not uneasy even for him to do such a thing because the Jordanian-American bilateral relationship, it's not only about Palestine and the Palestinian cause. There is another dimension of this historical, strategic, bilateral relationship. It's also about war against terrorism. It's also about security cooperation. It's also about Jordan being an active player within the international coalition to fight ISIS in the region. It's about 14 American military bases deployed in Jordan as well. That's why I think it is early to think that he is going to impose the maximum pressure in Jordan. And if he did it, I think Jordan have no other option but to go for diversifying its international and regional relationship, starting from Europe, as the king did it a few days ago or a few weeks ago, and also to open up with another regional and international powers. American is the superpower so far, but it is not the only one.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today on DW. That is Oraib Al-Rantawi, founder and director of the Amman-based Al-Quds Center for Political Studies.
Thanks for taking me. Thank you.